If you guys have a 2016 to 2023 Tacoma and you upgraded your headlights to this, the Morimoto XB headlight, when this came out, it was the best of the best. But yeah, Morimoto came out with new headlights. There's this one, the Morimoto XB Evo Hybrid, and then the Mac Daddy of them all, the Morimoto XB Evo. But we never really dove into the comparisons. Is it really worth the upgrade? I want you guys to make the informed decision. The original Morimoto XB headlights that you probably have on your vehicle uses 3 LED projectors. The 2 projectors closest to the center of the vehicle are bi-LED, which means that those 2 will also produce your high beam. The projectors are really bright, but when we did our scientific testing to compare this to the Morimoto XB Evo, the projectors on the new headlights kind of blew those out of the water. If you got the Morimoto XB Hybrid, there are only 2 LED projectors. This middle projector here is actually a dummy projector, but if you get the XB Evo, not the hybrid version, there are 3 LED projectors. And inside of the headlight, the center one is a dedicated D-series projector. It's an all-new projector to give you just an intense high beam when you're driving down the road or you're driving down the trails. What truly separates a good headlight from a great output is how they look when you're actually driving down the street. Now we're going to test the brightness in a different way. You've probably seen it in the new XB Evo 4Runner video that we released. This is very, very similar. Taking into account 8 different points on this headlight housing. We then will measure the candela of each one of those points and then put it into this complicated equation to spit out a number between 1 and 10. This is the industry-leading way to find out how good or how bad a headlight truly performs. Morimoto's old headlight, the Morimoto XB. Really interested to see how this performs on the new rating scale. It's got pretty good control because we aren't seeing so much foreground illumination, but it's got a modest down the road range of illumination. Despite the headlight housing having a wide beam pattern, the output is actually just a little bit too thin in my opinion. The low beam, it scored a 1.7. On high beam, it did really good. Morimoto's control of the light generally comes out on top, especially in high beam. The width score is a 2. It's not the best we've seen, but it's better than some. It's got an overall rating of 3.8. Finally, we're gonna dive into the new Morimoto XB Hybrids and the XB Evos to figure out if these are any good in comparison to what you just saw. Starting with the Morimoto XB Hybrid headlight. It does a very good job of covering all your basic needs at the upper range for comfort. It's also got a very strong distance reach, both low beam and high beam. The low beam score was a 7. The high beam score was a 6.5 with a width score of 5.4. The overall rating of this headlight was a 6.8. They aren't driving these projectors as hard as they could. If you opt for the additional Supercharged Driver and you install this on the back side of the headlight, I don't know who wouldn't do that. With the driver on low beam, I got a distance zone score of 8.5, a high beam of 8.4, the width score was a 6.3, and the overall rating now is an 8.5. I don't think anybody would want to buy this headlight without this Supercharged Driver because it does a really good job. And lastly, the moment everybody's waited for, how does the XB Evo perform? Without the Supercharged Driver, we get a distance zone score on low beam of 7.0 and an intense high beam because of that D projector at a 9.1. The width score is a 5.7 with an overall rating of 8.0. It's got a slightly modest width, but the low beam and the high beam make up for that. All the parameters of this headlight's output sit strongly above average, and it's a very well-balanced high-performance headlight on low beam and high beam. If you want to go all out, the Morimoto XB Evo with the Supercharged Driver looks like this. You got a low beam score of 9.2, a high beam score of 11.7, and a width score of 7.7. The overall rating of this headlight is a 9.6. Remember, with the Supercharged Driver mounted, it is brighter than the regulations allowable intensity. It is important to note that this is for off-road purposes only. What about the daytime running light on these headlights compared to this? Well, you have, as you can see here, a white daytime running light, but if you wanted it amber, you had to completely buy a new headlight. You can't just switch from white to amber like you can with these. There's keys on the backside where you can do all sorts of things with the new daytime running light. If you bought the XB Evo Hybrid right here, you can switch it to amber, but if you bought the XB Evo, the Mac Daddy of them all, then you can. There's 4 different keys that you can use and simply change them out on the go. So you can have either a white daytime running light, an amber daytime running light, and it even changes the turn signal. The original XB headlights did have a sequential turn signal. If you unplugged or plugged the connector on the back, it then would be a standard blink turn signal, so you had that option. But now it's all integrated in the keys. Before I move on from the daytime running light, can we be real for a second? Your original daytime running light looks like garbage now compared to the new Topographic daytime running light on the XB Evo and the hybrid. Either one of these will have that sweet design in the daytime running light. Right now we're on parking light mode, so they're not even in their brightest form, but it would undoubtedly blow out the camera. We don't want that. Style is really important. The Tacomas are really cool, especially when you're going overlanding. The last thing you want is a headlight that doesn't stand out, but you spend a lot of money on it. On that point with money, these are essentially the same price as the original headlights. So it's really cool that Morimoto gave us a break. When we put these online, we were able to sell them at a really decent price. So far we've covered that the Morimoto XB Hybrid and the Evo is substantially brighter than the original lights. The daytime running light looks a lot better. There are TIR optics integrated inside of the daytime running light, so no matter what angle you're looking at the daytime running light, it's going to be equally as intense. It wasn't so much the case for the original Morimoto XB headlights. And of course you got better styling. But what else is majorly different that really might just make you pull the trigger? The Morimoto XB Evo has a heater function that literally melts snow and ice when you're driving around in inclement weather. No other headlight company that I know has an integrated heating system like this that's that sophisticated. I know I touched a little bit in the output section on the Supercharged Driver, but if you were to install it on the XB Hybrid headlight or the XB Evo, it then no longer is in compliance. It is going to be for off-road use only. The Supercharged Driver is like $150 extra, but it's undoubtedly worth it. It's so much brighter. If you're gonna go all this way and put one of these headlights on your vehicle and replace your Morimoto XBs, then just do it. Just slap it on the backside of your headlight and then forget about it. Let me tell you guys a little secret we found. When you install the Supercharged Driver on the backside of the hybrid version, you do get that startup feature. So you didn't have a startup feature when you hit the unlock button or you start your vehicle with the hybrid version, unless you have that Supercharged Driver. Your original Morimoto XBs did have that sweet startup sequence, but it was nothing like the Morimoto XB Evo startup sequence. This does nothing for performance. However, it looks really cool and it lets everybody know that you upgraded the headlights on your Tacoma and you're better than them. As far as warranty goes, the 5-year warranty is the same for the Morimoto XB Evo and the XB Evo Hybrid. And if you use that Supercharged Driver, you still have the 5-year warranty. So with all of the features, the benefits, the brightness, and everything, in my personal opinion, I think the biggest reason you would want to upgrade from this to this is that these new headlights have a completely new formulated UV protection on them. So by now, if you've had these suckers on for like 7 years, 5 years, however long they've been out, you probably have noticed a little bit of fading, a little bit of sun damage, and that's not gonna happen with the new headlights. If it's time to upgrade your headlights, you could go to headlightrevolution.com right now. Just type in your year, make, and model. We've also tested ditch light brackets and tail lights and so much else for the Tacomas. It's one of our most popular items at Headlight Revolution. We want you guys to check it out. We don't want you to be scammed. We want you to have the best lighting for your vehicle. Go there, we'll see you today.